This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome online at-home sales team and recruiters to a quick mini session on open Q&A. So we're going to cover a lot of different topics for, pretty much will be a quick meeting here. So number one question was, explain more about pooling product. Like how do we take, a group of workers or even a worker and attach a price to them and put them out there into the marketplace, and why would we do that, or what's the difference? So everybody hold up their hands in front of them. You got two hands. In one hand, you have a crew. A crew is defined by, three or more people. That crew could be licensed or it could be non. It depends on the trade. So in general, a crew though is a non-licensed thing, usually like a painting crew, a drywall crew, a roofing crew. Those are non-licensed trades. The difference between what makes them a sub, or AKA a subcontractor, is the legitimacy of their crew. Are they legal? Meaning not legal like immigrants, but legal like as a business entity. So do they have insurance? Is the question that defines that. If they have their own workman's comp, general liability, and have a name of a business, then they are a sub, and they can sign up what we call a sub agreement packet, and then give us copies of their insurance, 3 or 4 references and photos, and then they have to work out something with me in the form of what they cost. But they can become a sub. We turn around and sell that sub as product. If you have a handful of individuals, 4 or 5 people that do not have their own insurance, they can also be sold as a crew, but they're not a sub. And so that is a difference there. And really the main thing there, in addition to insurance, is that a sub will handle their own payroll. So they charge me, let's say $30, and then I can turn around, use that service, and sell it for $35. That 5 becomes our profit margin, and we build everything from there. If they do not have their own workman's comp and general liability and will not be handling their own payroll, then that works totally different. And we really have to go to our rate sheet almost, in that they're going to need insurance coverage, and they're also going to need payroll services. And so they're going to have to be someone's employee, and that's how that works. So I say that to say this: if you got both hands out, you got a crew on one side. It's either one, it's a legitimate crew or not. It's either a sub or not. And then you have your other hand, which are just workers. Now, just workers could be very like-minded or skill set wise. So let's say we go into Atlanta, Georgia, and run ads for plumbers, and our target wage is $25 an hour in the ad. And we thought we had a job that we needed 10 plumbers on, and we staffed it, and it was over. And then we realized that we had 100 different applicants for that job. What would happen? We could take those additional workers that we would call pooling product and package them up. If you look at the screen with me for a second and click on the sales documents, in the sales documents, if you scroll down under the rate sheet, which is something that you'll learn a course in the university about, but not something you will use probably literally for your first at least 2 months, because we sell a lot of subcontractors, so that we have a flat rate price. You don't have to figure anything out. This is the last thing I want you doing, is playing with a calculator in your first couple of weeks. So when and if you do get to selling individuals or pooling product, we would base it off of this. If you look at the left-hand column here, which is all described in the university under the rate sheet video, but the left-hand column here, I see the price of $25, for example. I look to the right, I got 3 different columns: 30-day, 60-day, and 90-day. That is a sale type that we call trial now, that you do not hear me talk about in your first month or two. The reason being is because we focus on selling subcontractors that are crews for flat rates. They tell me 30, I sell them for 35. That's it. You don't have to learn anything else. I wouldn't even try to learn anything else. You are just going to confuse yourself. However, when you're here a long time, to add another feather in your hat, 30, 60, and 90-day on a trial now, we could sell one person to one company. Yes, full time. Yes, with benefits. Yes, everything I tell you to avoid. Yes, you could do that. You look on the far right of this scale, there's a 6, 7, 8, and a $9 and a $10 profit margin column for that same $25. So I can scroll my fingers across 25, find a $6 margin, which is my minimum price, and $40.75 would be my price for that individual. Here's how that would work with pooling product. I could take those additional 50 workers, doesn't matter who they are, what they are, know what the average expectation of price is, and then I could turn around into the open market and I would have me here a temporary rate that would be legit based on that product cost, because this has your profit, this has our profit built in, this has our burden mixed in. A burden is a company's taxes, workers' comp, general liability, corporate taxes that you have to pay for an employee, which are the yin yang, which is why we traditionally don't do it. The millions and millions of dollars of revenue that I do every year, this is not a big part of it. And then that's why there's so much liability with it. And there's so much that goes along with selling one company, one guy, when you can put half the effort, half the money in and sell 100 companies, 100 workers, all temporarily. But that's how you deal with pooling product. And the reason why we don't do a lot with it, like I told you, it's just very consuming. It's just extra education for you guys, and it's just so unnecessary when you're getting started. What you want to focus is on selling subs. I'm telling you guys what, we have drywall teams, painting teams, and roofing teams, and that's where your focus should be. You should focus on leads that fit that. If you are going outside of that, you are only stunting your growth, because I'm not going to go out of my way to find 6 carpenters for some lead in Iowa. If we don't have a crew that is that, you're treading on very thin ice. And the reason is because I've been doing this a long time, and I know how to sell fast and how to staff fast. The whole point of it is to get people paid fast. So if you start to go finding leads that don't match up with that, all you are doing is creating a situation where everyone gets paid a lot longer away. And people can't afford to do that. That's why you're not doing it when you're new. Now, once you've been doing this a long time and you're willing to call on that yourself, and you're creating a long-term payment, return on pay, and you want to do that, and that's your decision, that's different. But like for bonus leads, I don't want them. That's why I tell you guys to skip the 99 leads where they're talking about 401ks and benefits. I'm trying not to waste anyone's time here, trying to make sure people get paid quickly. So that's what we're doing. So the principle of pooling product is there. It is valuable. Don't get me wrong. You can definitely still make a good living doing it, but it's a totally different animal than selling temporary staffing and selling subs, where they handle all the burden. They handle all the payroll. And even more importantly, we don't have to staff. So what will happen is if you go selling one of these in single electricians or 4 carpenters that have to be on someone's payroll, first of all, it's going to take a lot of effort, cash up front for all the marketing and advertising, everyone's time and investment to jump on spreadsheets and start processing resumes. It's a lot. There's a whole lot to it. I mean, it's a percentage of what we do, but I do not start new people anywhere near this, because again, it's the most effort, takes the longest to get paid. Why would I do that? All right. So how can I use pooling product though as a principle today? We have pooling product. We've got 200 crew members out of Houston we can place nationwide, hanging, framing, and finishing for drywall and acoustical ceilings. That is pooling product. It's product that I can make one phone call within 3 business days, have a crew heading that way. That is pooling product. We have the same thing in our painting sub, and as you guys heard the other day with the roofing sub that came in, and he's also in our WhatsApp group, so if you have roofing questions, you can throw them in there. At the end of the day, though, he's got access to about 10 crews right now. How's that for pooling product? Well, we don't have to go out there and find 10 crews or find 10 guys to go on 10 crews. I mean, that kind of stuff takes forever. This is something where you have a very turnkey crew to sell, okay? Next question. Good morning. I have a doctor's appointment. I'll be fine later today. Okay. The flu sucks. Sorry about that. Yes, but you can find that if your head isn't spinning and you have the flu, finding leads while you're sick might be a blessing. Might be able to slow you down long enough to actually be able to go and find some leads to call when you feel better. Do we have pipe laying crews? So again, we can have any kind of crew in the world. We can go out there literally and find any kind of crew in the world. our database is full of everything from pipe fitters to welders. But don't get creative, don't get fancy, don't try to get cute, and don't try to be outsmart anything. I'm trying to make things easy for everyone. Sell drywall. There's a lot of walls on every project. There's not a lot of underground pipe laying though, I promise you that. So drywall, hanging, framing, finishing, painting, and roofing. If you don't find that lead, step over it, or don't be mad at me when you don't make money in 30 days. Next question. Wow, that's actually a really good motivational point. Don't know what I said, but thank you. Your audio is going in and out. It always does, Milo. I don't know why. If you do have issues with the sound, come and go, man. That's sometimes all I can say. If you look at, I don't know if you can see my computer screen on the bottom right, but I got full bars, so I don't know. I mean, it just is what it is. I've had issues with online meetings from the beginning of time. One of the reasons why we record them. Let's see. She said 90 calls. Oh, I got you. Is that how many calls she made yesterday? Is that what she's saying? That's awesome. I'm going to clarify that too. Yesterday, because Chuck had asked the question, because he's not calling. He's going to be doing bonus leads for us. And he's the only person in the world who I really probably recommended that for, in that he's on a fixed income status. He can only make so much. He cannot make more. So I would encourage him not to do sales because he's going to make more. Everyone else though, if you're only here for bonus leads, I wouldn't even come into these meetings. I just go get better at bonus leads, I guess. I mean, these meetings are to build up salespeople. It's good to know though if you're a bonus lead person, because these are the salespeople that are going to be out there selling your leads. So if you're out there trying to find good leads and you are in here and you realize that someone's a good closer, reaching out to them and making sure they know you're out there trying to find good leads, that's a good thing. As the meetings get bigger, what you'll find in the morning is that closers and salespeople will come in, and a lot of them who don't want to hear the content for new agents will come in. The bonus lead people and or the recruiting people will say, hey, we got pooling product over here. We've got a crew finishing up over here. And then the salespeople will get in. They're like, hey, I'm looking for some product over here. One of my clients is also looking for this. And then the full-time or long-term recruiters will kind of communicate with the full-time or long-term sales, and then they all leave. And then we're stuck with a bunch of brand new people who are trying to learn. So that's usually how your meeting formats go. As the summer comes closer, you'll see that. Question: when you get a voicemail, what message should you leave? A mini script or something different? There's no mini script, and anybody who knows me knows I absolutely loathe scripts. I'm just one of the kind of, I'm a sales closer that hates them. Some people love them, some people hate them. I hate them. I hate anything. If somebody sounds like a robot, I hate to say it, but I'll hang up on them. I'll just hang up. I know it's not personal, and I just run from it, from a business standpoint anyway. But as far as a script, there is no script. What I would say is that it's absolute common sense what to say. That's what I'd say. I mean, if I looked at a Craigslist ad and said, I'm looking for 15 hangars in Houston, and I got a voicemail, I'd say, hey, I saw you were running an ad for 15 hangars in Houston. If you haven't found everyone you were looking for, I've got a crew for $32 an hour, includes workers' comp, general liability, and the payroll, and they can be there in a couple of days. Tool ready, they're a production crew. If you can use them, call me back. Here's my phone number. If you've already found them, save my number. I can get you these crews whenever you want them. Leave that voicemail. I always leave a voicemail with a price. That's my script. I don't care what else you say before that. I would just acknowledge what they were running and then leave my phone number. But the number one golden rule for voicemails is leave them, first of all. Always leave them. Let me read. Always leave them on the first call attempt. If I call more than one time, I'm not leaving 60 voicemails. But the first one will be a qualified voicemail. I will tell them why I was calling, because I'm seeing what they're running. I know what they're looking for. I'm trying to figure out if they still need it. I am leaving a price because no one will call you back to be sold. They're not going to call you back to figure out what you were trying to sell them. They're just going to know you were trying to sell them something, and they're going to avoid you. If you give them a price, though, they might not have been as near scared to talk to you. See, a lot of people, you know, they'll talk to you after they hear your price. Like, wow, I hate staffing agencies, but I could swing that. You really have them? Can they be here? So, but if you don't leave a price, they're gonna in their mind, you cost $1 million. I can't afford that. You're a third party. I can't even afford the single party. That's what they'll do. So, but if you leave a good qualified price, then you're going to get that callback. And like I said, and you can see this in the university, I have gotten callbacks up to 2 years later. That's the truth. The very first sale we ever made as a corporation, Catalyst that is, was off of a voicemail from over a year prior. Meehan Electric, California. He left me a voicemail that went like this. Is this JB? It's not my name, by the way. You called me like a year ago, said you had some electricians. If you still do, I don't know if you still do that. If you still do that though, I could use some electricians. Call me back. So I was like, weird. Yeah, I called him. And turns out that it was a voicemail I had left when I was still a salesperson for the company I worked for. And he called me back on my cell phone, and we placed a nice big 15-man order. Next question. Are house renovation crews something that we are interested in? Not really, Holly. I mean, and I'll tell you why, because a house can get done in days. Now, if there's 10 houses, that's a little different. It's also a different kind of crew. And I know you guys are all just learning. The money is in commercial, period. Because commercial jobs, and it doesn't have to be, a big hospital or a school. It could be building a Dollar General, but commercial will typically have a budget for lodging. Most of your residential subs are locals. They don't go out of town to go build somebody's house. So that's like a different world. It's the difference between a traveling commercial crew and a local residential. That's kind of the difference. So, that's that I'll give you a for instance on a different level. I can get you an electrician in any city. The chances of him wanting to travel though are absurd to him, because he goes home at 6 o'clock every night, dinner's on the table, pats his dog on the head, kisses his wife, watches TV, goes to sleep, and goes back to work. He has no idea what you're talking about when you're talking about traveling somewhere. But meanwhile, he's working for a local electrical company that's doing service work, or, he's working for the electrical company. He's out there doing line work. He is your average everyday 9 to 5. That's not what we do. I spend my time advertising for traveling electricians. They hold state licenses that reciprocate with multiple other states. They make their living on the road. They don't want $22 an hour on a local job. They want $35 an hour, $100 a day per diem in lodging, and want to work 70 hours a week in an industrial plant or a big, large, gigantic commercial project where they needed 30 electricians. That's the difference. One of those will pay you barely anything, and one of those will pay you, 6 figures a year. So can we do it? Sure. Do we want to do it? No. And so when it comes to residential renovation, it's not that we just like run and avoid it. It's just that when I say I got a drywall crew, I'm not going to send you 4 guys in from Houston to go finish a house. It's not going to happen. So it's a bad lead in that regard. Where it is a good lead, we do have a crew of around 30 that do renovations, ground up renovations in Atlanta, Georgia. So if you were wanting to find some leads in Atlanta, Georgia, we could probably, put that onto a crew where they would send 4, 5, 6 guys out there and work on a house for a month. That's doable. A lot of that has to do more with what comfortability I have with a crew. And again, we deal with high caliber traveling commercial crews. Production crews is what they call those. I mean, these are grade A professional. They don't even know, they wouldn't know what it meant to say 401k. They probably think that was an app or something. They don't even know what the hell that is. They don't know what benefits are. They don't know none of any of that is. They are there to do one thing and one thing only, and that's send money back home. They send money back home, wherever home is. That could be in Mexico, but they want to send money back home. They are working their tail off. They'll eat on the job site. They'll sleep 6 to a room. These are traveling road dogs. That's what we specialize in. That's what we do. You should keep that mindset when you're looking for leads. If that doesn't sound like what that is, run. I mean, that's hello. I can't tell you, it's kind of frustrating every time we look at bonus leads and we go down through them, and it's just like a letdown, as a closer when you see leads that are not that. It's tough, because we know what pays money. And if once you really start to understand that we're looking for that big commercial project, and it is okay to not find it for a day. And when you find one, Katie bar the door. I mean, I told you guys, if that 30 or 40 man large scale apartment complex job goes down, that's almost $2,000 in commission weekly. That's what a job like that would pay. So that's a big deal. Next question. Thanks for the happy anniversaries. My wife will probably appreciate it more than I will. I don't have a really bad perception of time. We've been together for a long time. It just doesn't feel like it. No limit to how many people we can sell, other than the 4+4 + 48 plus lodging, which you get in the very first video of Fast 5 training. So I've got that on the app bar right now, highlighted. When you open that up, you'll see that first video will break that down, and also the bonus lead video, which is in course number 1, Podio 101 CRM system training in the university. The difference is that that's a 90-minute course on finding bonus leads, and the Fast 5 is a 20-minute version, but no limitation on the upside, small limitation on the downside. I mean, we say 4, I'll sell a 2-man order if they're working enough hours and getting the lodging too, so it's just a model. Even though we can work on the weekends, you recommend we just do leads on weekends or still call? I'll still call. I call on a Saturday for sure. Maybe not on a Sunday, but it depends. If the guy ran an ad on a Sunday, I'll call him. Early bird gets the worm. But I definitely call on a Saturday. I mean, if somebody's running an ad and they have a need, I'll call them. I'm not going to sit there and call like a corporate business office on a Saturday. You're going to get too many voicemails. But in the world of cell phones, active wants active. So if they're actively running an ads on Saturday, they appreciate the fact that you're available on a Saturday. They don't want to sit there and wait for corporate America to call them on a Monday. As a new agent, I go on preferred websites and find leads. I put the leads in Podio, rinse and repeat. How long do I wait for a closer before I can make a sale? Do we get a part residual for finding leads that closers close? So the bonus lead pay works like this. We say up to $400 because some of them don't even profit $400, but the first 400 is what that bonus is for. It's the first $400 of profit for the first 4 weeks of job. So that's as residual as it gets. If you want residual commission, you'll have to learn the sales side of it, and actually you'll start to call leads yourself. I'll show you how basic that is though. You could literally go find a lead, call it, and the guy goes, how much? That's too expensive. And you say, hold on a second, let me have somebody call you back. You can still get the residual off of that. So, you got to be willing to sell. I mean, that's ultimately what you're here for. Bonus leads is exactly just that. It's bonus, it's extra. Sometimes I wish I never created that program, because people get the misunderstanding that that's all that they could do, or that's all they should do, or that's really where the money's at, when it is very absolutely can't be farther than the truth. Couldn't be farther than the truth. I mean, it just isn't. Bonus leads, there's too many leads out there. I hear people more complaining going, I can't find the leads, but we don't even scratch the surface. I mean, we are a dinky company compared to how many there really are out there, and how many job sites there really are going, and how big this industry really is. So if we can't find them, we're not looking hard enough. I mean, you might feel like you're running out of real estate and looking for leads in a certain website, but that's just one of thousands of websites. So again, we have to broaden our horizons, broaden our search techniques and all that. I don't have time in the year to teach everybody all the different places they could go and what they could be doing to find them. So, the residuals, the big money that comes in picking up the phone and willing to dial. And even if that's just calling the guy and saying, hey, saw you're running an ad for 36 framers. Have you found everybody you're looking for? No. Okay, well, listen, I've got a crew. you'd like to talk to, talk some numbers, I'd like to set you guys up on a time. You could literally do that if you were just a horrible salesperson. So, again, setting yourself up for residuals is the idea and where you want to go. I mean, like, just find and put leads on the weekends. Okay, thank you. New advice, no problem. Pipeline camp up for calling and ad for drywall. Yes. Okay. So here's what you can do if you're calling somebody on drywall and they say, "Hey, do you have any pipe fitters?" I'd be willing to talk to them. I would just have to really, really. There's only a few things we would be doing there. I would have to look and see if we have quote unquote crews. And I'd have to be very comfortable with the crew or that client, and I can do a background check and we can see where we are with it. As long as I trust that they'll pay, I don't mind putting the work in. Do we work with public construction crews for city states as well, or are we strictly working with commercial leads? I mean, it's both. I mean, you're going to get residential stuff as well, but I mean, if you mean by public by like, Tommy is running an ad because he wants somebody to come finish his kitchen, no. And the reason being is because Tommy will not pay his bill, and I've been doing this too long to know that Tommy can't even afford to pay his bill. No matter what. So we want to deal with entities, if that makes sense. So business to business is definitely the way to go. And it's just a lot safer for all of us. Just to be clear, we're allowed to take as many leads or calls as we want, right? If so, I plan on diving ahead first into the ocean of money you stumbled across. Tuesday, you sound like, you're interested in bigger money. You need to be probably setting up a private mini session with me at some point so I can make sure you are on the right path to getting started, because there is a system to it that if you overlook the system, it's just going to take you longer. If you're willing to take a little, cold motivation, I mean, I'll tell you when you're sucking because I'm trying to motivate you to get right. You just got to be willing to do very certain things. And I mean, if you're doing too small of a call volume, I'm just going to tell you, you know what I mean? Like, I don't sugarcoat any of it, because at the end of the day, boot camp style, I'm responsible to getting you paid as quickly as possible. That's how I look at it. And there's only one way I know to do it, which is be brutally honest with you, because otherwise I'm patting you on your back and telling you you're doing okay when I'm really watching you turn blue in the face because of what you're doing might not be, the fastest way to money. I mean, that's just it. Thank you. Some people absolutely hate me. And let me say this too, as we close this out, unless somebody has a last dying question, I got 2 more minutes. You have to understand something about me. There's 2 of me. There's 2 sides of me. The one side of me is, how do I put it? I can rub people the wrong way because I'm blunt. I speak my mind. I tell you how I think it is, and there's a reason for it. I don't talk like that to people I don't know. Now, I know I don't know all of you, but what we're trying to do together and what I'm trying to do for you, I need you to be, I don't need you to be thick skinned. I'm not going to call you fat and ugly. I mean, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying but I am going to tell you when, 20 calls in a day sucks. It's just horrible. I mean, it is. And you might be embarrassed that I said that, but I said it out of love because I'd do it to I'd say it to anybody else too. I'm also going to be the kind of guy that'll tell you like with Chuck, dude, you're freaking killing it. You know what I mean? These are the greatest leads ever. Kendrell hasn't even barely gave me but 1 or 2 full days in sales, but she's doing a fantastic job. I tell her that every day. Every day I make fun of her though, and every day I'm going to beat her up a little bit because I don't want her, I need to let her know that some things are still unacceptable. So don't ever take anything I say the wrong way. Trust me, I'd never mean to offend anybody. If I do, I'm the kind of personality that you'll know when I'm trying to offend you. You'll absolutely know. It'll be just so clear. So if I've offended you by any type of way I talk, I'm sorry, but I don't intend it that way. So just the way it comes out. The other side of me though is that I'll do anything for you. I'll absolutely do anything for you. I'll close your deals for you. I'll take a loss before you will. I'm the most fair individual on the face of the planet. I am not greedy. I can literally tell you times in my career where, I couldn't, pay for something, in my personal life, but I made sure that my reps got paid of the little bit that we got paid, if that's all there was. I mean, you know what I mean? That's the kind of person I am. And so when it comes down to it, I teach in love, if that makes sense. I mean, I love you to death. If I didn't, I wouldn't spend this time. Nobody pays me to do this. Okay, so I got another meeting on the logistics side I got to run into. Guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy the holiday. Remember this. There is really no such thing as time off when you are a entrepreneur. A lot of you guys will have to throw the 9-to-5 mentality out the door. If you will take advantage of Fridays, take advantage of nights and weekends, if you will go in the extra mile to put together call lists and to go out there and try to find you enough qualified leads where you can push button call a bunch of them as fast as you possibly can to build up to that 90 calls or 100 calls or whatever that looks like, that's really ultimately how you get to be able to take that time off. If you want the time off and you want to be able to, take breaks and you want to be able to not work on holidays and, wait till you see where I'm going this week. I mean, that's all that stuff right there. It comes from hard work. I mean, I'll put 16, 17-hour days in. That's my wife. But then I won't work for a week. So, I've done that for months at a time to where sometimes I get migraines because I sit in front of a computer so long and everybody, including my doctor, is telling me to look, you can't do this physically. You'll have to slow down. But then I will, and I'll totally be slow. I mean, in the summer when I'm coaching football, oh Lord, I don't work. You know what I mean? Like I'm totally in a different world. So there's certain times you're gonna have to choose in your 24. I actually started to write it's a mini series course that I'm probably going to give to all my agents for free. It's called 24 Now, and there's 24 hours in a day, and what are you doing now in every area of your life? And I live by that. I really do. There's always, I'm the worst at not balancing. But because I do a lot of things. I'm a lot of different places. So I have to have that to check myself. And it's hard for me, that's why I started writing it. This is super hard for me to stay focused. So for each of us, we have to look at that 24 hours in a day, figure out when you're going to go chip away at the university, figure out when you're going to get started, figure out how to do it, and more importantly, figure out how to do it now. Talk to you guys later. So I'll see you on Monday.